So you guys asked for it, and I'm giving it to you. This is the walk around for my beloved Dusty. Dusty is a 1990 Skyline GTR, and she hides a lot of pretty interesting secrets. We picked up this car about a year and a half ago, maybe a little longer, maybe 2 years, and it's just been love at first sight since. When we first got the car, we intended to sell it, but after driving it home, I realized that it's actually a really special car, and there's a lot of really interesting focal points to this car that prevent me from parting ways with it. So I'm gonna run them through you. Basically, starting with the car itself, the chassis of this car was used for something, racing of some sort, before it got to the US, clearly. And we know that because when we first drove it, the first thing we realized, the body's rough, right? Like, when I say it's rough, it's like, it's not, the paint's horrible. The thing was covered in dust, which is the reason why I call the car Dusty. When I first saw it, it was just absolutely covered in dust. But instead of washing it off, I just left it, and it just kind of washed its way to where it is right now. And I don't wash the car. I wash the windows, I clean the interior, and I keep everything in the engine clean and running right. But I give fuck all about this body. Anyway, when we first got the car, we looked under the hood, and it had some cool HKS goodies, some old stuff, period correct, and that was cool to me. But driving it, upon getting into it, first thing we noticed, it was rough. Like, the paint's messed up and stuff, you know, everywhere. So you saw the door, and I saw this peeking through here, and keen eyes will tell you, you know what that is. It's carbon. So it's got carbon doors, which means it's extremely light. And first time I opened the door, I knew it. I was like, what the hell? It's extremely light. So carbon doors. It has a carbon trunk and wing, and it had, you can see harnesses were attached in here. I didn't see any remnants of a cage, but other than that, the interior was pretty docile. The center was modified for a gauge, which I'll get into that. But we drove the car, and then as soon as we pulled out onto the road, turning the wheel and giving a little gas, it felt like there was something broken. And turns out it has front and rear diffs. We did not know that. So that was a huge score. It has a mechanical locking diff in the rear and has a pretty strong diff in the front as well. So this thing gets power to all four wheels like it's its job. Now, inside, we've got Momo wheel, which I added. Nismo shifter, which I added with the Nismo shift knob, titanium shift knob. So I like that touch. Again, this is another 10%, I think it is, solid Nismo shifter. So really nice feel. It's got a Haltech. The Haltech is controlling the E85 buried in there, and we are using a Haltech gauge art gauge for relaying all the information off of the ECU immediately, so that I don't have to hook up to the computer to see ethanol content, boost, blah blah blah, temperatures, whatnot. So that's a really cool little feature. Also has a center diff controller, so I can dial in more power to the front if I need to. And this car typically brakes traction first, second, and part of third if I don't have the diff controller on. So this is a much needed item on this car. I added this cool HKS dash plate because it has like a crack under there. Shh, don't tell anybody. Nismo dash cluster, gauge cluster, which is also kind of cool. And in the back, it has a battery relocation with this cool box. So that was another sweet little find when we got the car. Modified pump shuttle box, whatever you want to call it, pump hanger thingy. There's a box in there. It's a stainless steel one in this one, and I have 2 pumps in there, E85 pumps, the as new pumps. So wired relay for that. That's all in there. Super light trunk. This is a Tomei TI full titanium exhaust to the Mines front pipe. This combination to me is just fantastic. I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I love that equal length sound. Up front we got business HKS intercooler. The bumper is it's not carbon, but it's a lightweight fiberglass bumper that was smashed at Walmart. Thank you, that's me. I did that. So I fixed it with zip ties because it's dusty, and that's what I do. Sitting on the stock wheels because they're ultra light. Running the Nismo brake rotors and just some standard pads. But those rotors are cross drilled front and rear. So that helped that a little bit. The car has Hikis deleted completely, as well as ABS. So under the hood we can see, the ABS is gone. I put a catch can over in that corner, and the Hikis, which would normally sit down along the frame rail, is gone as well. So, and the lines have been deleted, so you can see no Hikis line. That's gone. ABS lines are gone. It's running the ABS-less lines. So pretty excited about that. And I built the catch can set up here. This one's there. And we got that one there, drawing from the motor. So it still goes into the PCV valve, but it's drawing from atmosphere instead of out the intake, and it catches all the oil. So we're running HKS 272 step 1 cams, HKS cam gears, HKS fuel rail, all new lines plumb. That's 2-6s in with 1-6 return going to fuel pressure regulator. Old school HKS super blow off valve. All HKS piping to the HKS intercooler. HKS turbo, I don't know what they call these. I call them turbo outlets, but they're technically inlets, I don't know. But they're, anyway, these coming out of the turbo, these pipes, this is an HKS piping kit. This kit actually is for 33s and 34s though, so for the 32, I had to be creative with the intake setup. But it works. And 2 HKS mushrooms in red to top that off. Here we have our ethanol content sensor, and pretty happy with that whole setup. Mishimoto radiator, sponsored by Mishimoto, in case you were wondering. That's a joke, inside joke. HKS spark plugs, which are clearly invisible at this point. These are R34 coils to get rid of the igniter module. So no igniter module on this. This is R34 coils converted. And icing on the cake, HKS 2530 turbos. These HKS turbos have Tomei outlet pipes going to the Mines front pipe, but they are in a stock location. I love this setup. These turbos are awesome. They make power everywhere. They're a little bit laggier than stock, but not to the point where it makes a damn difference at all, because once you get moving, it's all business. So that's pretty much it. Stock suspension otherwise, still running a factory GTR shocks and struts. I actually took a set off of another car that was in excellent condition, and I didn't like the suspension that came on this. It was just old and beat up, so I got rid of it and put the stock stuff back on because I don't need anything crazy with this car. It just does what it's supposed to do. I added a couple of side splitters along the sides, and oh, it's got RSR lowering springs. So that's the only part of suspension that's been modified. So the RSR lowering springs on the stock GTR struts or shocks. So that's pretty much it. That's our walk around for Dusty. I hope you liked it. If I missed anything, I'm gonna be upset, but I'll just start her up for you and let those cams sing. Dyno video coming soon, so don't worry. Let's get this thing rolling. Gotta love that sound.